Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. If you didn't notice, I got a haircut since I last saw you guys, which was technically late last week. However, though, I did upload that YouTube video late last night to make it look like I had uploaded to make it look like I filmed it last night, I guess you could say. But anyhow, so first of all, I wanted to say that this summer will be 3 years since I've been living here in Northern Kentucky. So, with that being said, I would like to do a live stream, basically just talking about how it's been 3 years since I've moved here and just what an experience it's been since I've lived here. And honestly, with how much worse things are getting in Florida, and now that my friendship with TJ is officially terminated, and after all the craziness that TJ put me through while I was down in Florida, honestly, I am extremely happy I no longer live there. And, I will admit that it was extremely hard at first before TJ's dad unfortunately passed away, but after his dad sadly passed away, TJ has basically gone. So, maybe God was trying to tell me something even before that whole incident happened, trying to get me to move up here for that reason, just to protect me. So you never know. But anyway, enough about that. So before it gets too late, I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about my elective cooking class, my cooking class elective or whatever. You guys probably see that I am currently tucked into my bed. I'm nice and cozy. But that doesn't mean that I can't do a YouTube video or whatever. So, I'll put it up a little bit more to make it look a little more professional. So, while I was in high school, I was taking a cooking class. I'll referring mainly to my ninth grade year to be specific. And during my ninth grade year, I actually took two electives, but we're only going to focus on one of them for now. And this YouTube video, and that was a cooking class. I'm sorry, sometimes I stutter, but the very first day was more of like this safety portion. We were like reading a cookbook not cookbook, but like a safety protocol book and just kind of all the safety features. I mean, I should have known that was coming because cooking is not just about cooking, it's about cleaning up after yourself. It's also about how to work with chemicals, like what chemicals you need to use to clean up after yourself, or what chemicals you need to use to cook with. Cooking also requires like presenting, how you present your food. I've learned a lot about cooking even just working at the Arc Encounter. You'd be surprised. I have learned so much. I've even learned about MSDS, which stands for Material Safety Data Sheet. And I didn't even know that was important outside of public supermarkets. I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense because it's a grocery store, but here I am again at the Arc Encounter, and they're teaching me about it again. I was like, wow. And of course, they had to go over it during our culinary safety training meeting that was like the week before I went to guest services. And I was like, oh, that word sounds familiar. So, yeah, there was all that fun stuff. And ninth grade me, or 15-year-old me at the time, was like, I didn't want to be in this class so I could learn about this stupid stuff. I want to be in this class to learn how to cook. And I believe if I remember correctly, the teacher did say, I'm sure that you guys are, thinking I don't want to be in this class too. Just learn stuff. And this is really important. And trust me, you are going to get to do all that stuff. You are going to get to do all this cooking and fun stuff like that. So I was like, yes. So, yes, over the next few months or so, I pretty much learned how to cook all kinds of different foods. And I remember on my very first day of cooking, class, one of my dorky classmates, you could say, I don't think it's that bad of a word personally, decided he would set fire to a window AC unit. Yeah, he got in trouble for that one. Why did he even have a lighter on him is beyond me. I don't know. I also learned that we had two projects that were due in that class. So one of them was more of a like paper based final. The best way to put it is, so that final, basically we had to put together a cookbook of some sort. We either had to pull recipes off of the internet and we had to compile it all together into a cookbook, or we could come up with our own recipes. So I put together a bunch of recipes that I found online, and I believe that some of those I had already had on me, and I put them all together in one big notebook. I believe I did get an A on the class, or on the I obviously got an A on the class, but I believe I did get an A on that particular final. And then the other one was a little more challenging than that. You would think, oh, that's got to be challenging. No, that's easy. Putting a bunch of recipes together for a cooking class, that was actually easier than my poetry class, or my English class poetry project, which basically was half of the poems had to be my own handwritten poems. I don't know how to do poetry. Are you kidding me right now? And the other half of it was poetry that I could find online. Well, that's a lot easier. And then I had to put it all together. Well, I got a B on that one, so that's not too bad. I'm sure I could do a lot better these days. But then again, I was 15 at the time, too, so. But the final for the cooking class, the actual real final, the cooking class and the theater class happened to ironically end on the same, well, not really, but around the same exact time. So the cooking class actually ended officially on the opening night of my theater class's big project, the big final called the Mousetrap, which I will get into the next YouTube video, which will be about my theater class. And the theater class ended the very next night, which was my final. I had to do my act for the entire school and whoever else came the next night. So I was kind of a relief on my part, because there was no way that I was going to be able to perform on opening night and do the cooking class on the same night. So that was kind of a relief for me. Now, I still had to be a stagehand on opening night, but the good news is the cooking class ended literally, like, we did our big final before the actual theater presentation ended. And I think the teacher did it that way intentionally. That way people had time to eat and get over to the theater, and that way the cooking class wouldn't be, or whatever, wouldn't be interfering with the actual thing. So we had to put together this ginormous pasta dinner. And they had spent like all this time in advance, like going over everything, basically just telling us like what to expect. Like, we're going to be serving pasta, we're going to be serving garlic bread, we're going to be serving salad, and we all had to be waiters and waitresses. I only have been a waiter in my life one time, and that was that night. And I personally felt like I did a horrible job at it, and I hope and pray I never have to do that again, because that was really, really difficult. And I'm sure everybody that had to do that night felt the same exact way that I did. So, yeah, good times. For sure, but otherwise, I honestly don't remember anything else that happened that night in particular. I wouldn't say that I liked that class as much as I thought I would, because of the fact that most of the class was just learning how to cook and learning how to cook this, learning how to cook that. I personally knew the teacher just because of the fact that she used to work at Winter Haven Christian School, where I went to middle school at, and where My mom taught for about 13 years, give or take. So I was like, oh, cool, at least I have a somewhat personal connection to the cooking teacher. And I also thought I would like the class because I had a somewhat interest in cooking at the time. If I had taken the class when I was a lot younger, when I was more interested in becoming a chef, I felt like I would have been more interested in it. At the time, I was more into acting and theater. My passion for acting, unfortunately, is not as strong as it used to be, though I still have an interest in acting. But my passion more these days is my YouTube channel as well as the ministry. And what I mean by the ministry, I mean like God, the church, Answers in Genesis. That's more where my heart is at these days. And that's why I've been putting a lot more emphasis on that. But I also like to put a lot of emphasis and my passion onto theme parks, which is also why I threw my YouTube channel on there, because of the fact that I really like to talk to people about the theme parks. I like to show people what's going on with the theme parks. I mean, I'm not the Tim Tracker by any means, but I like to be my own person. I like to be unique, and I think people like that about me. And I'm very thankful that I have over 200 subscribers by now. Well, I think I've said enough for one night and one vlog. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this portion of my vlog. As I said, my next one is going to be about the theater class, the acting class that I took. This is not anything like the last theater class that I took. This one is more regarding all the time that we spent as a class preparing for this play called the Mousetrap. And that YouTube video, I'm going to talk to you guys about what the play was about, who everybody played as. I'm also going to talk to you guys about the play in general. And that's going to be pretty much the majority of the YouTube video. I also want to talk to you guys about how the teacher literally had a meltdown on the second night, which was the night I performed, and how he almost lost it because some of us just could not nail our roles, and how I turned what was supposed to be a murder mystery into a comedy. So I think you guys will appreciate that one. I mean, yes, at the time it was embarrassing, but these days it's not just embarrassing, it's hilarious, and I don't mind embarrassing myself because at this point, it's been 13 years, I really don't care anymore. And that's just how I feel, so. Alright. Well, let's see here, 2009, about 13 years. So, with that being said, I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great night. Peace out.